We've seen numbers and data coming out now about the devastating educational effect of the pandemic, as expected, but still definitely pretty brutal. So we'll get to the Biden education secretary in a second here. And this isn't a Biden thing, this isn't a Trump thing. This is just the pandemic is going to cause this because of the way we had to adapt based on the pandemic. But take a look at this first. An overwhelming majority of states saw significant score declines among 4th and 8th graders in math and reading between 2019 and 2022, with students posting the largest score declines ever recorded in math, according to new federal data that provides the most comprehensive evaluation to date of the impact of the pandemic on academic achievement. Quote, the results show the profound toll on student learning during the pandemic, as the size and scope of the declines are the largest ever in mathematics. It gives us our clearest picture yet of the COVID-19 pandemic's impact on the academic achievement and the well-being of our students, our teachers, and our schools, she said. We know that the pandemic affected everyone, and many people predicted that when we measured student achievement this year compared to what we saw prior to the pandemic, that the results would reflect historic disruptions to school and our day-to-day lives. Absolutely. And again, of course, there's specific actions that could have been taken that would have improved this. But I think in a 30,000 foot view point or perspective, it's reasonable to think that what we had to do just to survive through the pandemic was going to have pretty disastrous consequences in a lot of different ways. And so I wish we had handled it better, but it's not some big condemnation of this particular party or this particular action, because whenever you have to keep people justifiably out of the community as much as possible for a set period of time, that's going to be tough. And students don't learn well on their iPad, zooming into class. And so it's pretty expected that this happened, but still pretty shocking. Here is Biden's education secretary getting asked about this.
Secretary, thank you for being with us. I mean, this is bad news. How are you reacting to this morning?
Well, look, I'm saying if this is not a wake-up call for us to double down our efforts and improve education, even before the pandemic, then I don't know what will. We really need to make sure we're utilizing the ARP dollars to help our students in reading and math and go beyond the data that we had in 2019. We have to double down now.
Okay, you're mentioning the American Rescue Plan. I mean, and that is, look, that is like a tourniquet right now when you're talking about some of these major issues we're seeing. But we just saw a report last hour from our Gabe Cohen where you're seeing this math and science teacher shortage. He had in his story an Arizona science teacher who had 70 kids in her class. I mean, it looked nuts. There's just no way to do this effectively, but this is what they're having to do. So even with those ARP dollars, I mean, there are no teachers in the pipeline. You can technically, I guess, pay them more, but they're not even in the pipeline to pay. So what do you do?
Of course. Yeah, look, that example is a symptom of decades of underinvestment. If we're going to get our students to where they should be in America, leading the world, we really need to take this issue seriously. Past the pandemic, we need to think about how we're investing in our schools.
Okay, so again, I don't think this is oh my gosh, we saw a decline, so this is the current education secretary's problem, not problem, it is his problem, fault. But it is a conversation that needs to be had about, number one, how do we make up what we lost? Impossible, sort of, but as much as we can. And then how do we look forward and think, generally, how do we improve our education system? Because right now, not only do we have a bunch of students who weren't properly served at this period of time, we also have teachers who weren't in such a significant manner that many of them stopped working, and now we have a shortage, and there's other reasons for that before. It's not like our education system was incredible before the pandemic. So what we need to do, as he's highlighting, is properly invest now and think about this over the next 10 years so that we have a fully efficient and good system in place for future generations and students that will be going through the pipeline there. Because we've had a broken education system for a long time. Now, the Republican Party doesn't propose things that would actually improve that reality. A lot of their push is to privatize education, and that would leave a lot of people behind. And so we need to figure out how can we get our public education system the best in the world. And that's going to take proper, not only investment, but focus, political energy put behind it, because just throwing dollars won't fix the problem, but setting up proper systems will. And we can do it. We can look at how other countries who do better than us do it. We can look at the problems and, good solutions that have been proposed already and come up with new ones. But it is something that needs to be focused on, because education, I think, is at the core of so much of the life outcomes of individuals going forward. So sad that that's the outcome we're seeing from the pandemic. Hopefully the proper amount of energy and focus gets put into this issue.